This video is sponsored by Deep Cut Studios. For a wide range of fantastic gaming resources such as battle mats, dice trays and pre-painted bases, check out the description below. Hi guys, and welcome back to our Malifaux Masters Breakdown, where we showcase the factions and personalities vying for soul stones and dominance within the Broken City. Today's episode focuses on the Bayou Master Mah Tucket and her Tricksy keyword. The Tricksy keyword are super slippery thanks to their shared scamper ability, meaning that any time an enemy cheats fate, they get to make a move. This makes it exceptionally hard to pin them down, and opponents will have a difficult decision to make whenever they're losing a duel. These swamp dwellers don't like to be followed either, throwing out hazardous pit trap markers all over the board to slow and damage anyone who dares to come near their turf. Mah is the head of the Tucket clan, quickly quelling any tomfoolery with her giant wooden spoon. She's a master that likes to carefully plan her turns, using the suit from the initiative flip to give her crew a bonus for that turn. A flip she's very likely to win thanks to her Ill Omens ability. Mah gets a free pit trap at the start of the game and can easily throw more out with her quick action Create Trap. When she's not in the thick of the fighting, her attack action Horrible Hollering can be used to move her friendly models into position, or even better, move your opponent straight into one of your traps. Everywhere Mah goes, the little lass faithfully follows. This mini Mah might be insignificant, but don't underestimate her medium-sized spoon, which has a decent damage track and has some lovely movement triggers available. She too likes to holler at people with a lower stat than Mah's, but it will be useful for your own models to move more often than not. Mah has a trio of henchmen available, each fulfilling a differing role depending on your playstyle or the matchup that you're facing. First up is the irresistible Chris, is that what we're really... Alright, the irresistible Tricksy. Oh, look at that picture. She'll help you win initiative thanks to her Ill Omens, which stacks with Mah's, and this sultry schemer has manipulative and don't mind me, meaning that she's free to scheme to her heart's content. Her quick action free loot gives some anti-scheming with a bit of free movement too. Tricksy is a lover and not a fighter, dealing no damage with either of her attack actions. Sharp Wit will slow the enemy and have a built-in suit for a friendly model to take a swing, or it has some movement tricks, while her Lore is a huge stat 7 with triggers to either steal soulstones, cause card discarding, or the built-in trigger that actually pushes the enemy away, as they didn't need to see that. Second is Sparks, a model that is shared with Mei Feng of the 10 Thunders. He turns scrap into pit traps, which is fantastic if you're leaning into the mechanical side of Mah's keyword. He also stops enemies targeting each other with his hostile work environment aura, shutting down healers and trapping your target in place. Sparks can also throw out some shielded with his Now You're a Robot tactical action, potentially turning a friendly model into a construct which he can then command with his quick action. Last but not least is Big Brain Bryn, the master manipulator who really helps you stack the odds in your favour. Arcane Reservoir increases your hand size to 7, and the intuition means that he can make sure that his actions will succeed when he wants them to. If you have an abundance of cards that you don't need, his Knew You Were Going to Do That ability means he can discard one to cancel a trigger within 6 inches, which can be absolutely destructive for the plans of your opponents. Bryn has the same sharp wit skill as Tricksy, but can sober up models to clear conditions. But we all know the real reason that Mah brings Bryn is to calculate the possibilities. This insane action effectively lets you discard 1/5 of your fate deck, choosing 3 cards discarded and shuffling them back in. An amazing ability for getting rid of a load of weak cards, but more often than not, you'll see a Joker in there too. Although the Tricksy keyword is spoiled for choice with henchman options, there's only one enforcer that you can take, and that's the rooster jockey known as Ruffles. A movement of stat 7 make him one of the fastest models in the crew, and trample means that you'll have no fear of blocking him in with your own models. The Crazed Chicken quick action is great for clearing an area as it pushes all models within 3 inches up to 2 inches in any direction. It's the bane of most bubble crews. His Stolen Starter Gun attack has a 10-inch range and an oppressive medium and severe damage track which pushes the target 2 inches regardless of whether or not you damage them. Mah's family has a wide variety of minions to offer to suit your particular mood that day, as long as your mood involves big guns. Bushwhackers are amazing at holding areas and harassing the opponent from range. From the Shadows lets them set up shop wherever they like, and they too get a free pit trap to start, meaning that they are well protected with stealth, ensuring there's no return fire. Their quick action is the same as Mah's to get some traps out and clog up the board, but the 14-inch clockwork rifle is the real star here. With a 2-3-5 damage track and the potential for a crit strike trigger, meaning that the opponent is going to have to come and deal with these models or face being sniped off the board. Rooster Riders are quite literally insane. More movement at 7 with the reckless quick actions give them an extra AP, meaning that they are super mobile. Oh, and don't worry about taking a bit of damage, as Grit Frantic means that once they're at half wounds, they'll get a positive to all attack and damage flips. So what attacks do they have, you might ask? Well, for those who like to get up close and personal, their beak attack is not to be sniffed at with a 2-4-5 damage track and triggers that either let you hit again or move the enemy around. But alternatively, if you're glancing as we all are at that other 14-inch gun, this one is another one with a 2-3-5 damage track, which can be brutal with range shooting. Another shared Foundry model is the Survivor. These guys love scrap markers and work well with their Foreman Sparks, but oh look, their Steam Rifle arm attack has a 14-inch range and can drop scrap markers or let you have another shot depending on the trigger. Armor 1 and hard to kill means that they're not going down without scrap and they might survive longer than the rest of their Tricksy mates. Luckily that's it for big guns, but how about Luckily that's it for big guns, but how about an orangutan with knuckle dusters? Why not? Bayou. Bryn's test subjects are a cheat minion with a deceptively low defense and willpower, but every time they gain the injured condition it increases their stats instead. Luckily the happy accident ability means that these guys ignore the damage from hazardous terrain, so just sit them on pit traps and just swing away. Last but not least is the model that Mah borrowed from the Arcanist, the thriller driller that is the Soulstone Miner. Mine Soulstone lets you get a free Soulstone every turn at the cost of gaining stunned, which is a fair trade really. Its 2 quick actions effectively let it drill it into the earth or pop back out again. And their attack action Mining Tools ignores resistance triggers and can even ignore armor, get you another Soulstone, or throw your enemy into a pit trap depending on the trigger that it receives. Mah's keyword is impossible to pin down and very hard hitting, the long range guns letting you keep your opponent at bay, while Mah herself bounces around playing whack-a-mole with her spoon. She favours more killie pools and can easily scheme with the best of them thanks to the manoeuvrability of her crew. A standard operation will be to whittle your opponent down with your long range shooting for the first couple of turns before moving in to mop up with Mah and the other beaters and scheming in the final rounds. However, if you are coming up against the Tricksy crew, do not worry, there are some things you can do to mitigate the amount of times you're whacked with a giant spoon. Firstly, beware that the big hitters of this crew have very little defensive tech, so big swings at min 3 can quickly delete the models once the opponent gets into them. Secondly, as always, the stun condition is pretty much horrendous for a lot of these models. They really like to use their triggers, so anything that can reduce their AP efficiency or even slow will start to ruin their plans. Finally, as you might expect with a Bayou crew, these guys are not keen on anything that reduces damage or causes willpower flip, such as terrifying, distracted, or armor and incorporeal. So if you'd like to give Mah and her Tricksy crew a run out, then consider the example list that we have here that favours some of that ranged weaponry that we all love. 3 bushwhackers mean that you've got 4 pit traps out before the game has even started, and the 2 roosters can support at range or charge in when needed, while the Soulstone Miner pops up to score you points and get you those stones. Bryn is there to make sure the deck is stacked in your favour, while Mah and the little lass can go whacking wherever they like. So that brings us to the end of this Malifaux Master breakdown. We hope it's been useful and giving you a snapshot of the crew and its mechanics. For more talk about Malifaux and its masters, why not check out our podcast The Harlifaux Show, where we break down each keyword and why you should play it. Alternatively, we have a wealth of beginner-friendly battle reports here on the channel that guide players through every flip and decision. Whichever you choose, we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, folks. Hi guys, and thank you so much for watching our videos. It means the world to us. If you want to see some more, they should be over here. If you want to support this channel, keep these lights on. You can find links to our Patreon and merchandise in the description below. Take care.